Okay, so this is in chapter 2, mixed exam practice, question number 6, looking at calculating someone's power bill. So they've given us this formula, C equals A plus BN. Whenever you're given a formula, make sure you can understand and remember what those things mean. So for me, that might be writing out charge equals the fixed price plus the usage rate times the amount of power they actually used. You may not want to do that in such a complicated way, but it's always good to turn these into actual meaningful things. So you might have A equals fixed, B equals usage rate, or something like that. So make sure you understand what these terms are. So they ask us to write down two equations with the variables A and B. What I've done here is read through their description of the problem, and as they've gone through, I've just written down information in a mathematical way. So equation 1, we have last quarter, the Ahmeds used 820 units of electricity, so I've written that in here, and paid 106.24 pounds. So I have a charge, 106.24, and I don't know these things, so I just leave them as A and B, but I know they use 820 units, so I write that down. Okay? I don't know where it's leading, but I'll start by writing that down. I've done the same thing with the second situation they gave. Question A says, write down two equations in the variables A and B. So I just did that from the question. I wasn't necessarily, did that from the description. I wasn't answering the question yet. This asks you to put it in that form with the variables A and B. So I just tidied this up a little bit. Okay, so put it in a nice, sensible way. Okay, so an examiner can see what you've done. Part B then says to find the variables A and B. So two ways you could do this. One of them, actually 3 ways. Firstly, you could put this straight into your equation solver, which I wrote down here, in your calculator. So that's where you need it in this format. You know, n equals x plus something y, or something x plus something y. Okay, I think in your calculator it's something x plus something y equals a number. So you may just need to flip this around, but you can put those right in and you'll get your answer. B equals 0.12, A equals 7.84. Of course, your calculator won't say B and A, it'll say X and Y. So make sure you remember which one is X and which one you're calling Y, and be consistent. If A is X in this top equation, A must also be X in this bottom equation. Okay, don't start mixing them around. You will get an incorrect answer. You could plot both of these equations and find the intercept. We tried this in class. It was difficult to find the actual intercept, but maybe I'm thinking of a different example. But that should be quite possible to do, as long as your view window is set correctly. Okay, or you could, to do that, you would need to rearrange for one of these variables. So you can't plot this in your calculator. You need to rearrange for, for y. Y equals something x plus something mx plus c. So because we don't have an x and a y, you could call either of these y, but I think the a is easier to isolate, to get by itself. So I made a y. So I have two equations here, which are in the form of y equals mx plus c. Okay, and those are my two equations. And I can find where they intercept. Or, if you have your two equations, you can just say, all right, I know both of these equal A. When they intercept, they will equal each other, right? Because this will be exactly the same as that when they are intersecting. So A equals A, so equation 1 equals equation 2. And so the A variable is already gone here. I just have B. So I'm solving this, simplifying to get the B's by itself. Okay, so here I think I move the 85 across that side, and I move the minus 820 over to this side. Okay, so you end up with that. And then you divide this side by 170. You get B equals 0.12. And then you substitute this value of B back into either of these two equations. Okay, because this is A in terms of B. So you replace this with 0.12, which I've done here. and that'll give you A equals 7.84, which again is the same that we got from our calculator. Right. Finally, you need to calculate their bill if they're using 745 kilowatt hours of electricity. So here you have A and B, so you put them in, and they've given you C, and you can get your answer from there. Always write out your actual equation, what you're doing. I should have probably written out this equation one more time over here, just to make it clear. Get your answer 97.24, but always turn that into an answer that answers the question, because they were asking us how much will they pay. We need to give them a figure in pounds, because that's what they gave us. So those are your three answers.